Now here is an Inside the Eye feature from our global friendly outlet sources exclusively picked for Blue Eye Media. Learn the truth behind what mainstream and opinion outlets will never say. Get the inside facts of this chronicle.
Wow, I want you guys to watch the moment that JD Vance gets confronted over his damning non-answer at the debate the other day, where he refused to say whether or not Trump won or lost the 2020 election. Now, this is a question that should be easy to answer. It's fundamental to the foundations of our democracy, but JD Vance weaseled his way out on stage and we all saw it. So our friends over at The Good Liars decided to press him even further, and let me tell you, this interaction gets pretty heated. Before I play this, let me lay the groundwork. This clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene was just released where she calls for Jack Smith to be prosecuted, imprisoned. Watch.
Regime, which is what they have done the entire time, Natalie. What Jack Smith is doing is completely illegal, and he should be prosecuted. After we win on November 5th, Jack Smith should be prosecuted. I'll go further. Matthew Graves, the U.S. attorney that continues to prosecute January 6th defendants, election protesters on January 6th. Matthew Graves should be prosecuted. This is a weaponized abuse of power, and shame on Republicans in Congress for never.
Nothing would bring me more satisfaction than to someday see Marjorie Taylor Greene lose her seat in a landslide. Leave a like and drop some blue hearts if you agree, but Marjorie's only mad because Jack Smith brought the facts, something that she knows nothing about, and all of these facts were given by Donald Trump's closest allies, his closest advisors. People like Mark Meadows, Sidney Powell, all turned and gave Jack Smith exactly what he needed to prosecute Donald Trump. In this indictment, somebody who was on Marine Force One, one of Trump's campaign staffers, overheard Trump telling Melania, Ivanka, and Jared Kushner that even if you lose, you have to claim that you won. I mean, it is an open and shut case, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is just mad. Also, I like how her answer to, quote, weaponizing the justice system is to even further weaponize the justice system. But to understand why JD Vance can't even admit that Donald Trump lost, you have to watch this clip of Trump continuing to double and triple down on this election fraud lie.
Last election, we did great in 2016. A lot of people don't know we did much better in 2020. We won. We did win. It was a rigged election. You have to tell Kamala Harris, that's why I'm doing it again. If I thought I lost, I wouldn't be doing this again. You know where I'd be right now? On the beaches of Monte Carlo, maybe, or someplace.
I wish you would go. Jojo from Jur says in the replies, Trump knows he lost. Jack Smith knows he lost. And he's going to lose again. Then he's going to go to prison. Now, we know for a fact that Trump knew he lost the election, and Jack Smith's indictment, or his newly released version, only reinforces that. Everybody around Trump told him that he was going to lose after the mail-in ballots came in. Everybody around him said there was no election fraud. So he fired those people and only relied on crackpots like Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Mike Lindell, people who have no basis in reality whatsoever. And that's why it's sad, not sad, but that's why it's interesting to see JD Vance get sucked up in that, because people get mad when I say this. They get mad when I say this, but I think JD Vance is an intelligent dude who is grifting and is an opportunist. Now, is he super duper smart? No, but I think he's well-spoken, an intelligent guy who is grifting. We know a decade ago he was pro-trans, pro-immigration. We knew that he was more centrist, and now he's lunging for power, and he's forced into situations like this. Take a look at The Good Liars. Jason Selvig confronting him on whether or not Trump lost the debate. You can see JD Vance's, I'm sure comms person or somebody on his campaign trying to push Jason away during this, but he keeps on going. He never relents. Take a look.
Who won the 2020 election? Could you just answer, did Donald Trump win, yes or no?
Yes.
He did win?
Yep.
So will you concede? Will you concede? If your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
I really feel bad for you, man.
I just want to know, if your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
It's funny he said, I really feel bad for you, man, which is a crazy way of deflecting, but JD Vance said it right there. He said, yes, Trump won the 2020 election, which raises so many new questions. How is this person grabbing power? How is this person in the position that they are when they don't understand the fundamentals of the system around them? They don't know how elections work. They don't know the rules or the processes at play, and he doesn't even know who won the last election. As Lawrence O'Donnell said, this is the first VP candidate who doesn't even know who won the last election, and it is a disgusting lie, especially considering the fact that Donald Trump brought 60 different court cases. He lost every single one of them, then he tried to steal the election through extra legal means. Read this part of Jack Smith's indictment. It says, with private co-conspirators, the defendant, Trump, launched a series of increasingly desperate plans to overturn the legitimate election results in 7 states that he had lost: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. His efforts included lying to state officials in order to induce them to ignore true vote counts, manufacturing fraudulent electoral votes in the targeted states, attempting to enlist VP Mike Pence in his role to obstruct Congress's certification of the election, and when all else had failed, on January 6th, directing an angry crowd of supporters to the United States Capitol to obstruct the congressional certification. The through line of these efforts were deceit over and over, and now JD Vance is adding to that ecosystem of disinformation. Meanwhile, Trump is here lying at his rally today in Michigan.
If you want to see how sick and distorted Kamala Harris's priorities are, just consider FEMA. F-E-M-A. You know what that is, right?
That tells you he just learned what FEMA is, the fact that he has to say it out loud. So you guys know what that is, right?
The Federal Emergency Management Agency. And you read about now all the time because there's nobody that's handled a hurricane or storm worse than what they're doing right now. Kamala spent all her FEMA money, billions of dollars, on housing for illegal migrants, many of whom should not be in our country.
Someone in the reply said, quote, his lies reek of desperation and panic. You don't even have to be near him to smell the stench of desperation. Every day he sinks deeper and deeper into his own psychotic, deranged, and dysfunctional world, and that is true. What kind of, quote, leader leads by sowing distrust and fear in a crowd during a natural disaster? So there is a disaster in multiple states, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, and instead of helping these people out, Donald Trump opts to sow fear and division by saying that, hey, Kamala Harris doesn't want to help you. FEMA doesn't want to help you. It's like the psychological term learned helplessness when they torture animals and the animal just gives up eventually and starts taking it. That's what Trump does to the American people, but we're not going to let that happen. This is Trump lying through his teeth, doing some weird rant while his crowd just kind of sits silently like, what's going on? Before I play this clip, look to the right. I hate when they do this. The Kid's Guide to President Trump. There's a new one now. The Kid's Guide to the Courage of President Trump, and it's him holding his fist up with Abe Lincoln in the back. This is a disgusting piece of propaganda that would make Kim Jong-un blush. The idea that Donald Trump is some true American and deserves to be put next to Abe Lincoln and George Washington, when this dude doesn't understand the fundamental processes, number one, and try to disrupt them in every single way, is insane. Watch.
Powered cars, we're going to have hybrids. We might someday have hydrogen. Did you ever hear of hydrogen? That's the new thing. That's the new hot.
Hydrogen is new? What?
We might someday have hydrogen. Did you ever hear of hydrogen? That's the new thing. That's the new hot thing. No, hydrogen's the hottest thing going. It's too hot. You know what happens? When there's a problem, it's bad. The car blows up, and you're not even recognizable when this happens. It's like... Is
this guy in the back okay, right behind Trump? Is this guy's eyes okay? Damn.
It's a disaster. They tell me about... And I say,
oh, their glasses, never
mind. Are there any problems? Well, there's one problem. When a car goes bad and when it blows up, the person driving the car is not recognizable. So I think I'm going to pass on that particular car. If that's it. They said, oh...
I don't know what he's talking about. Genuinely, I don't.
Follow Blue Eye Media for exclusive insights and breaking news sources from global-friendly outlets that you won't get from the mainstream TV and radio outlets of America. Learn how to play the flute of the globe and learn the real truth.